Everybody can see my PowerPoint
Yes,
Yes,
and my voice is clear.
yes,
very
very
clear.
clear.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Professor, and all of my classmates. Eh? I'm sorry. No? I'm okay. Good evening, Professor, and my classmate. Today, I would like also the NPUST student and Dr. Net from Thailand and also Thailand student. Tonight I would like to present about the pantotenic acid synthesis in the rumen. So I start from the introduction. Vitamin B5 or pantotenic acid is a water-soluble vitamin that is synthesized by microorganisms and plants. The biological activity of pantotenic acid is attributable to its incorporation into the molecular structure of coenzyme A and acyl carrier protein. As a component of coenzyme A, pantotenic acid is essential for numerous reactions involved in the release of energy from carbohydrates, fats, and amino acids. And this figure, I would like to explain about the biochemical pathway in which coenzyme A and acetyl carrier protein is essential. So I start from this part. This part is a carbohydrate and amino acid. It will be breakdown into the pyruvate. And then the pyruvate will be converted into the acetyl-CoA. And this situation or this pathway, it will require the coenzyme A as or pantothenate coenzyme. And then from the acetyl-CoA, it require acyl carrier protein to become triglyceride, phospholipid, prostaglandin, and fatty acid. And then from the acetyl-CoA, it is very essential to build up the ketones, cholesterol, and cholesterol become the steroid hormone and bile salt. And then another thing, acetyl-CoA is important for the acetylation or acetylcholine. And then this pathway below, the acetyl-CoA will be converted into alpha-ketoglutarate, and then the alpha-ketoglutarate will be converted into the succinyl coenzyme A by the coenzyme A. And also from here, the branch of chain amino acid will become the alpha keto acid with the addition of the coenzyme A to become succinyl coenzyme A. This succinyl coenzyme A will be the hemoglobin or porphyrin. In carbohydrate metabolism, the formation of acetyl coenzyme A is necessary for introducing acyl group into tricarboxylic acid cycle. The role of acetyl coenzyme A includes its requirement for the acetylation of amino sugars, which are constituent of various mucopolysaccharides of connective tissue, and also for the acetylation of choline to form the neurotransmitter acetylcholine. Succinyl coenzyme A is a precursor for porphyrin and hence for hemoglobin and cytochromes. Acetyl carrier protein plays a major role in biosynthesis of fatty acid. The vitamin is present in feed, either bound to acyl carrier protein and coenzyme A or as free pantotenic acid. Rumen microbes are able to synthesize pantotenic acid and other B vitamin. Some species, such as Megaspira elsdenii, are documented to require the vitamin and may use an excess synthesis by other rumen microbes. The enriched pantotenic acid and coenzyme A biosynthesis pathway and increased abundance of Megaspira elsdenii and desulfovibrio species SPP because lactate utilizers require vitamins for their growth and activities. And this is the structure of the first one is the pantotenic acid. The second one is the coenzyme A. So this part is the pantotenic acid. In the middle is the pantotenic acid. And the last one is the acyl carrier protein. It also has the part of the pantotenic acid or pantein. And this figure is about the level or the concentration of the pantotenic acid in the several feed. So we can find in the lucerne, in the meal and hay, and many kind of grain such as barley, maize, oat, and also here there is a peas, rapeseed, and another grain such as rye, and this one is soybean meal and wheat, and the last one is whey powder. It has the highest concentration of the pantotenic acid. And this table is the summary of from two author. So this author would like to know which one of the microorganism is synthesized, require, or do not need the pantotenic acid. So from the first author, it mentioned if the Escherichia coli and the Streptococcus bovis is the two of these microorganisms, it can synthesize the pantotenic acid. But these two microorganisms didn't require the pantotenic acid for growth. And then another microorganism, which is this microorganism is required the pantotenic acid, such as the Streptococcus liquefaciens, and then another strain of the Streptococcus, Lactobacillus casei, Lactobacillus fermentii, Lactobacillus acidophilus, and Lactobacillus plantarum is required for the concentration of the pantotenic acid. And this figure I would like to show even the bacteria is need pantotenic acid. Actually for the growth they not only require for only pantotenic acid, but they also need another B vitamin. For example, in here we can see Lactobacillus fermentii in the first line. It needs the riboflavin, nicotinic acid, thiamine, and then vitamin B6 beside of the pantotenic for their growth. And also it happened for the another microbes you can see in the another microorganism. And then we move to the factors affecting pantotenic acid synthesis in the rumen. So this one is the author is Wagner in 1914. The author would like to know whether the ruminant can be able to synthesize the pantotenic acid in the rumen. So we can see from here, if the ruminant can synthesize pantotenic acid in the rumen with the help of the microorganism. So the pantotenic acid is synthesized by the microorganism in the rumen. We can see in here if from the basal ration the concentration of the pantotenic acid is less than 3.4, and then after they do analysis for the rumen content, they found if the pantotenic acid is become higher, it's become 55.5. So they make conclusion if the rumen bacteria can be able to, able to synthesize the pantotenic acid. And next, for this author, they would like to know whether what kind of the nutrient is needed for the rumen microbes to synthesize the pantotenic acid. So in this red red column in here, I would like to show if the author is comparing between the corn, long hay, and ground hay, and then the corn is in the form of flake and the ground. So we can see in here if the pantotenic acid is higher in the corn, so it's around 200, and this one, the ground one, is the higher one, is 300. And then if the long hay and ground hay with the addition of flake and ground corn, the long hay have a lowest one comparing with the ground hay. Even the notation is not different, but it lowest comparing with the ground hay. And then we can see if the highest one is from the crown, big crown, because from here we can see if in the corn, ground corn, it has a highly readily available carbohydrate. So when it become grown, so the bacteria or the microorganism will be easily to ferment the readily available carbohydrate become to the pantotenic acid. Next tabel is another author would like to know what kind of the nutrient probably will affect the synthesis of the pantotenic acid. So in here, the treatment is the forage, they using the Timothy hay, and then the readily available carbohydrate, they use the corn molasses or also the starch, and then they add more with the urea. So we can see in here from the result of the experiment, if the addition of the urea in the feed or in the diet or in the ration, we can see it has a higher concentration of the pantotenic acid for the ration number 3 and then 6 until 7. So in here they give the casein, but in here even it's not urea, it's used the casein. The casein also as the source of the nitrogen for the ruminant bacteria or ruminant microorganism. And this table, if I mentioned before, the experiment in the calf, and this table, the experiment they are doing in the cow. The ration is the similar, but the different in the calf and the cow. So we can see in here also the similar result. So if the ration number 3, number 6, 7, and 8, it has a higher concentration of the pantotenic acid because the addition of the source of the nitrogen, for example, in here, urea or the casein as the source of the nitrogen. And next tabel, I would like to mention about the synthesis of the pantotenic acid. So we can see in here, we comparing the prairie hay, silage, alfalfa as the forage, and then they add grain in here, the corn, and also some of the experiment, they add some soybean meal. So we can see in here, from the ration, the pantotenic acid comparing with this one, the rumen content, only the prairie hare, the rumen content the pantotenic acid in the rumen content is less because the amount of the readily available carbohydrate and also the nitrogen is less. So the synthesis of the pantotenic acid become less. But after the addition of the corn as the readily available carbohydrate and urea, the pantotenic acid in the rumen is getting increased. The same thing happened for the ration number 3 and also number 4 and another result. And the highest result is the ration number 6. So the ration is the corn and soybean meal. It has a higher number of the pantotenic acid because, as I mentioned before, if the synthesis of the pantotenic acid is related with the readily available carbohydrate and the source of nitrogen for bacteria to synthesis the pantotenic acid. The addition of urea as a source of nitrogen definitely increased the synthesis of pantotenic acid in the bovine rumen when a readily available carbohydrate was present. With an increasing content of rapidly degradable carbohydrates such as sugar and starch, more pantotenic acid is synthesized, indicating a shift in microbial population from species which consume to species which synthesize the pantotenic acid. We move to the next one is the effect of pantotenic acid supplementation on the rumen microorganism. This figure I would like to show if the addition or the supplementation of the pantotenic acid, especially in here, the concentration of the protozoa, so we can see with and without addition of pantotenic acid, the number of protozoa is getting increased with the addition of pantotenic acid. So we can see if the pantotenic acid, the addition of pantotenic acid, the number of protozoa is 10,000. If comparing with the without the addition of pantotenic acid is 7,000. So it also have similar reason with the another microorganism if the protozoa also need the readily available carbohydrate and nitrogen in order to grow. So in here, I'm sorry. It's mean I'm sorry. It's mean the protozoa for growth it need the pantotenic acid and also another group of the vitamin B. And this table is about the supplementation of the pantotenic acid and folic acid on the ruminal microbial enzyme activity and microorganism in dairy bulls. But I would like to show more in the addition of the pantotenic acid only. So we can see in here comparing between the without and with pantotenic acid. We can see if here the number of the silanase and pectinase enzyme is increased comparing without the addition of pantotenic acid. And also in here about the microorganism in the rumen, we can see with the addition of pantotenic acid, the number of Ruminococcus albus, Ruminococcus flava and I'm sorry, I forget. F succinogens, and the last one is Ruminococcus amylophilus is getting increased. And this table, I would like to show the effect of the pantotenic acid on the dry matter intake, everyday gain, and the FCR, we can see from this table if the addition of pantotenic acid increase the diameter intake and then the average dairy gain. But this one, the value of CR is become lower. And then the component of digestibility, in this one, we can see if the dry matter, organic matter, and crude protein digestibility is getting higher comparing with the without the addition of pantotenic acid. And also the digestibility of the neutral detergent fiber is also getting higher comparing with, getting higher is if we compare without and with the addition of the pantotenic acid. And this is the last table. So this table about the comparison between the high concentrate and high fiber with the addition of the pantotenic acid. So the duodenal flow from the neutral detergent fiber is increased with the addition of pantotenic acid in the high concentrate diet, but it doesn't have effect on the high forage diet. But the addition of the pantotenic acid in high forage diet has a significant or duodenal flow of the fermentable organic matter. So it has a higher value of the fermentable organic matter when the high forage diet get the supplementation of the pantotenic acid. And then this part is the apparent ruminant digestibility. In here, in this author, they mention if the significant one is the acid detergent fiber digestibility was increased with the addition of the pantotenic acid. So the conclusion, the first one, pantotenic acid synthesis in the rumen depend on the availability of rapidly degradable carbohydrate. I'm sorry, it should be one more is a nitrogen source. And then the last one, pantotenic acid supplementation increase protozoa, bacteria population, and fiber digestibility in the rumen. Okay, thank you. This is my presentation.
Okay. Any question, comments, or suggestion? You want to ask a question as well?
Yes, Dr. Shah.
Yes, please.
Thank you for the presentation. You mentioned that the bacteria, I try to connecting the information from Dr. Shah a few weeks ago, maybe quite a long time ago. He mentioned about the rumen can synthesize the vitamin in from their body, and now I found the answer that this is because one of the example is because the bacteria itself can synthesize the vitamin from the bacteria itself. But the question is, which one is better? I mean, we let the bacteria to produce the pentotenic acid, or uh, providing the pentatonic acid to the ruminant animal.
Okay, thank you for the question. So, in my opinion, naturally the ruminant able to synthesis the vitamin B, especially for the pantotenic acid. But if the animal growth, I mean to support the animal growth, it's better to give the supplementation because sometimes the production of the pantotenic acid in the rumen is not sufficient for the animal, probably because of the ration or probably another factor might affect the synthesis of the pantotenic acid. That's my answer.
Good answer. Thank you. Because there is any kind of bacteria maybe can synthesize some kind of vitamin B group or a little bit of vitamin E, but unfortunately, sometimes we don't know whether they are sufficient or not sufficient. Okay, if not sufficient, then we need to supply more. Let them have more function to make things synthesis more easily. For example, it means detergent fiber. So this is a very important one. Any question, comments, or suggestion? Chat.
Thank you, Nurita, for your presentation. I was thinking about like you said the vitamin B can be synthesized from bacteria in the presence of carbohydrate source and nitrogen, right? So I was curious about non-protein nitrogen because lots of feed stuff has non-protein nitrogen, right? And the ruminant bacteria can be used. So can this pantotenic acid can be synthesized from the non-protein nitrogen source or urea or other amino acid? Yeah, this is my question. Do you get what I mean?
Yes, I get. Yes,
Okay,
I
thank you.
get.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not sure, so I will get. I think I will find the answer later because I'm not sure.
Can I put it like this way? Because I was born in the Taiwan Sugar Company's family, and Taiwan Sugar Company have a very good yeast factory. And the yeast factory, they do not provide any kind of nitrogen. Maybe some nitrogen from the natural gas, I don't know. But most of the yeast can produce a lot of vitamin, okay, B complex. So when we were a child, we always eat the yeast as a supplementation of vitamin B group. Okay, so in this case, maybe the bacteria don't need some kind of bacteria don't need nitrogen from NPN, but they maybe from the natural gas nitrogen. What I mean natural gas is because in the air we have 78% of nitrogen. something just like the plant. The plant can synthesize their nitrogen, and just by using the nitrogen from the air or nitrogen go into the soil. But nowadays, I think the new challenge is sorry. The new challenge is from, do we need more vitamin B to help the bacteria have more function, to help the bacterial synthesis, because bacterial synthesis can benefit the ruminant animal, as we know in the previous several student with the presentation. Chad, can you understand what I mean? No?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. Yes. Any comments? Zuzu?
Thank you for the presentation. And for my question, because I'm also wondering that if this kind of organic acid can improve the bacteria or the protozoa population. So if we just provide to the bacteria, and do they have the other benefit to the animal?
Okay, thank you for the question. I'm sorry. Your question about the organic acid or the pantotenic acid?
Because I think pantotenic acid is also a kind of organic acid. So I ask that this way.
Uh, so if, in my opinion, pantotenic acid is needed for the some bacteria to grow. So when the bacteria grow well, I think amino acid which is come from the body of the microorganism will be how to say, useful for the animal. I mean the amino acid from the bacteria will be used for the animal for the growth. That is my opinion.
Not quite sure about this part, but I'm wondering, the bacteria need pantothenic acid, but the bacteria also can produce pantothenic because they belong to the B group. So this kind of balance maybe need more study. But can you tell me a little bit about what is the benefit? What is the really benefit for provide the pantothenic acid to the bacteria?
In my understanding, if the bacteria actually need the vitamin B complex for their growth, so they need not only the pantotenic acid but also another kind of the B group for their growth. So as I understand,
But
the
on the
pantotenic
other hand, the pantothenic acid or vitamin B group is a metabolical product from the microorganism.
yes.
So why we need to supplement the more pantothenic acid to the lumen?
When I read about the pantotenic acid, actually, I got less information in the beef or lamb for the meat production. But when I read for the dairy production, the pantotenic acid is need to be added because first one is the synthesis probably is not sufficient for the animal, and the second one, the pantotenic acid is needed in the milk production. I mean, is the pantotenic acid will be when the animal eat the pantotenic acid, and then they use it for their body for their metabolism, and then the last one is it will accumulate in the milk production.
Your answer is just like a egg and a chicken. So it's not easy. Can you find this kind of information just by yourself to try to find some information from the yeast metabolism, because yeast metabolism have a lot of information in this area. So you can find whether yeast will produce pantothenic acid or yeast need pantothenic to help them to synthesize more, to have more better reproduction performance of the bacteria.
Yes, I also read the one of the yeast produce the pantotenic acid is the Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Professor.
Say again.
Saccharomyces cerevisiae.
Sorry, I cannot understand your Indonesian
I'm sorry.
English.
It called Saccharomyces cerevisiae.
Oh, okay.
The name of
okay.
the yeast, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It can produce the high number of the pantotenic acid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Any question, comments, Wei Jun?
No, my question has already been asked. Thanks.
This is a very clever question. Nate, do you have any question, comments, suggestion?
Okay, thank you, Nurita, for your presentation. I have two questions. One question is in slide 12.
One.
Yes. Because I just wondering for this table when we have a look at pantotenic acid and when we compare with other vitamin group, for example, in vitamin B3, niacin. Can you explain the relationship between among other vitamin group when we supply with the corn or hay? For example, here, if we use the corn, we'll have tend to have high in niacin compared with in hay, other long hay or in the ground hay.
Good question.
I think in my opinion, can I say if almost all of the vitamin B group synthesized is need of the readily available carbohydrate. So we can see if the thiamine and then also the riboflavin, pantotenic acid, and niacin, and then vitamin B12. All of this vitamin is the synthesis or the concentration of is increasing with the increasing of the available of the carbohydrate.
Can I talking like this way? I don't know the answer, okay? But can I talking like this way? Do you remember last time we said all the vitamin B group and the vitamin E is a coenzyme? Can you remember?
Yes.
Okay. So why not? We try to find out which kind of coenzyme is a pantotenic acid, and then we can find what kind of rule ROLE,
Yes.
what kind of rule they play with, and then we can understand more clearly about the function of pantotenic acid. Can we?
Yes, I think I have. Can I found it? The correlation between one of the with the another. Oh, maybe later. I already got the figure, the correlation between the pantotenic acid and vitamin B3, and I forget another one in the, if I'm not wrong, in the metabolism or something. but I need to find it. I already found.
No, what I mean is, what is a pantotenic acid is equal to which kind of coenzyme?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes, Professor.
And once you know which kind of coenzyme, then you know where they are function, where they are function working, where is a function they working on which kind of metabolic route, ROTE. Okay, so this is maybe is a way to answer this kind of question.
Yeah, thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Any question, comment, or suggestion? Still not reach 9 o'clock. Still is 8:46.
I have some questions. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Miss.
Thank you, Nurita. Yeah. Thank you, Nurita, for presentation. I a little bit confused in the slide 18 in the table 3.
Yes.
Yes. So from the table 3, could you explain a little bit more about the relationship about the using pantotenic acid that will be decrease the acetate, the percentage of acetate in the table, like when you eat
this one?
pantotenic, why they decrease the acetate in the ruminant? Can you a little bit explain that, please?
Okay, thank you. Okay, from this author, I get the information why the acetate is getting lower when the addition of the pantotenic acid, because actually this experiment is using the rumen simulation technique or RUSITEC. This one is not using the animal, so probably they have less source of the forage. So I mean, if the RUSITEC is not, for example, in my understanding, the RUSITEC method is based on how many hours we will do the rumen simulation. So when the source of the forage is already finished in the ferment, so it will reduce. I'm sorry, it will be disappear. So there is no more the result of the acetate. So in here, the authors mention if the pantotenic acid addition have acetate is less because probably they have the digestibility is faster, so it has less. And then comparing with this one is.
I'm sorry about that. I think the also have some kind of misexplanation because you can see here is another example. Maybe the pantotenic acid plays some kind of role. He's let this kind of coenzyme let the animal products go to the propionic acid. Propionic acid is increased at least 1%. And the acetic acid is decreased 2%. No, yes, 2%. So maybe this kind of pantotenic is play some kind of coenzymes function, and then they transfer the products go to some place, produce more acetate and reduce more propionate. Can I say that? Okay, because if you say any other things, I cannot easily to understand why they go like this way. Sorry. So maybe we can go back to have a look. Pantotenic acid is what kind of coenzyme, and then we can know in the pathway whether he will let the products go to propinic acid or go to acetic acid. Can you understand what I mean?
Yes, Professor.
Yes, I am not quite sure, but I guess this kind of explanation maybe is much better. Any other question, comment, suggestion? Chat, do you have? Susu, do you have? Susu, you are not concentrating here.
No, I'm very concentrated on it. My question also, I have some question also in this table, because we can see that for the propionate and the acetate concentration, that if the propionate percentage will be increased, so we also can see that the related with the percentage of the acetate will be decreased. So in this kind of situation, the CH4 will get the lower production on it. So, but I remember for the other result, there's also show the here. Not only the protozoa, for the other table or figure show that the bacteria number will also increase. So I'm just wondering if in this kind of situation, we know that when the propionate is increased, so they have less age to synthesis as the CH4, right? But if in this kind of situation, we still have more bacteria or protozoa to produce more greenhouse gas, so how can we make the balance in this kind of conflict?
Sorry, I cannot understand your Chinglish.
Can I say again?
Sorry. But you know, my argument is here. You can see, I can see your argument. I can see your argument is not bad things, okay? You can see from here, it's very interesting now. Acetate is a decrease, but propanic acid cause the, but sorry, Pantotenic cause the propanic acid and the butyric acid both increase. Both increase. So this is the same thing like if you put more concentration, you will have more propanic acid and butyric acid. If you put more grass, you will have more acetic acid. The situation is like this way. So why not explain something like that? Because maybe this is also related with pathways. Which pathway we will go? I mean biochemistry pathway. Okay, maybe we can find out this kind of things later. CH4, I cannot really. Okay, I will try to understand this part too. But I'm really see the picture is go to acetate acid, go to more to propanic acid and butyric acid rather than go to the acetate acid. Okay, can you understand what I mean now? Try. I think maybe you all people lost the patient already. I can see from your face. Sorry about that.
Actually, my second question also a little bit similar with Sue, but I just want to ask about if we supplement the high level of the vitamin or pantotenic acid, it will cause unbalance, and then they will happen to, for example, methane production or odor emission in rumen or not. Because for when look at the parameter here, a little bit similar with anaerobic wastewater. Maybe not related with Nurita topic today, because I just think too over. If we add or we supply high level, maybe it can happen to cause other nutrient or other vitamin unbalance, and then they can produce more nitrogen, or here did not show like CO2 production, especially for CO2 production. Is this will happen or not? I'm not quite sure.
I'm sorry that I'm not sure. I think I need to find the answer.
Check less hand. Okay.
Yeah. Can I say something? Its professor said like when we add the high concentrate and the pentatonic result is similar, right? Here in this table, if we see the substrate 4, this one, 4R8C, like 4 raw phase and 8 concentrate, high concentrate diet. If we
Yes.
compare this whole table, whole column with pentatonic acid, it's almost similar, as professor said. So I think there is some relation with high concentrate with pentatonic acid. So,
Okay, maybe the trend is like that way. I don't know. I think we are our discussion is just try to make sure which way we will try to find out. That is a good one. So we try to find out some kind of way to solve this kind of question, because why I'm sticky on this kind of question is because maybe we were doing this kind of experiment in the future. Okay, so we have to understand why I have this kind of situation. Okay. Okay, let's stop now, and see you everyone next week. Is that okay? Yep. Okay. Okay. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
新来的有没有什么意见？进来的同学，
我在
用你的中文讲讲没有关系。
就是我在看的时候要一直翻译啊，所以要
没有关系，这是正常。He said he needed to find a dictionary to find a translation. I said this is a normal. I think everyone goes through this kind of stage. I'm go through this stage too. And last semester, I think Wei Jun is also go through this stage. And now Wei Jun is a little bit improvement, but still have some problem. But you know, you need to learn. You need to learn like Wei Jun have more thick skin. Do you know what I mean? 你要像伟俊一样，稍微的厚脸皮一点 ，thick skin 叫做厚脸皮。
好。
Okay. So and then you can say something, and Wei Jun always say, it's not no question at all at the moment. But I think he cannot understand some part, so he said, "No question, it's no
Okay.
problem." 真的没有关系，一点关系都没有，谁都会有经过这一段时间，不对吗？伟俊
是
，OK，
没有那么精确哦。我大概懂他讲什么，可是
对嘛对嘛，我知道啊，但是没有关系啊，有什么关系？
我没办法跟我现在的知识有那个连接点，没办法问问题。
是啊，没有关系，没有关系，没有关系，你就是这样子一直下去，你就会发现，你就是开始人家讲的胡说八道，然后就会越来越好了，不对吗？
没错。
OK， 我不是因为自己一个人在旅馆里面，所以我喜欢现在这样子胡说八道。其实我是觉得是应该这样子。Try your best， OK？ 这句话你懂吗？
嗯，
哦，那就好。OK， 拜拜，
拜拜。
拜拜。
Good night.